Good morning, everybody. This is Terry from Allen Art and Design. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by my channel. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. I really appreciate it. Before I get started today, I had a few things that I'd like to show you. Last week, I had gone to a thrift store and I found these. I think they're like bureau scarves, and they had all of these beautiful roses. So I cut out all the roses. Really pretty. Some of them I have to go back and pull off some of these little white threads. But what I did is I used one of my tins that I have up on the shelf on the left side of my room, and I put them all in there. So when I'm ready to use them, I can just take them off the shelf and I know where they are. They'll be labeled and they'll be easy to find. So I thought maybe what I would do is I could layer it on one of these. I was calling this a pinwheel. It's not a pinwheel. They're called yo-yos. And I guess they were created in, I don't know, like the 1600s. But they became popular in the United States in the 20s through the 40s. And people used to make quilts out of them. It was just a great way to use up little pieces of scrap because, you know, during that time, people didn't have a lot of money. So they were very good at recycling and reusing everything. And that's where I think I get some of this wanting to recycle and reuse from my mom, because she grew up in the Depression era. And they did the same thing. They had to reuse everything that they had, so nothing went to waste. So I thought I would take one of these yo-yos, and they're also called Suffolk puffs. Suffolk puffs. And I guess it became very popular in the UK, and that's what people in the UK call them, Suffolk puffs. So I thought that was interesting that we call them yo-yos and they call them Suffolk puffs. But I thought I'd take one of those. I could layer it with one of these roses, and then I could, you know, maybe put a button on it. That button I think is a little too big, and I'd probably put one on maybe that's has a pearl in it, or I just think that would be beautiful on a needle book. So I'll definitely be getting use out of those. Let me see. Not sure what I did with the cover, but anyway, so that's where I'm going to be storing those. I love those. Oh, here's the cover. So I'm going to show you a few things that I got at the thrift store. Let's see. I got this book. It's called Hot and Spicy Cookbook. I'm not interested in the recipes, although I'm going to look through it. And if there are some that I'm interested in, I will take them out. I'm interested in the illustrations in this book. They're gorgeous. Look at these beautiful illustrations. I'm going to be cutting out all of these little illustrations. And I'm going to be using these. I'm going to be using these in the recipe books, in my mother's recipe books that I'm going to make for some family members. And the illustrations are just beautiful. And I can just cut them out. Excuse me. I have a sip of my coffee. I got French vanilla in there today, and it is good. And my coffee's hot for a change. But I just love these illustrations. They're beautiful. Sorry about the sun. It's early today. But I wanted to get a video done because I'm going to babysit my little, well, she's not little anymore, grand pupper, my grand dog named Bailey. It's my son and his wife's dog. They're going away to a wedding. So I just love this book. And I don't like book covers. I don't know why, but I don't like them. But what I do is I don't throw them away. I recycle them. I'm going to cut this one up. And I'll probably use the white side. And I'll cut this into strips. And then I will make a collage strip that I can cut up and use for tags, pockets, belly bands, and journal cards. So I don't waste these. I do recycle them. And I'll show you that at some point. Okay. What was the next thing? Oh, I got, let me see. I got to show you. I got all these buttons. And they came in this mason jar, which I will definitely reuse the mason jar, but I couldn't believe there were this many buttons in that jar for $2.99. $2.99. Somebody at the Goodwill was marking things, and I swear they were marking everything $2.99, which I'm totally fine with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this box for organizing. You know, my thing right now is organizing. I tried using this for beads. It just didn't work for me. So I'm going to I have tons of buttons. So I'm going to put buttons, and I'm going to try to put like buttons together in these little bags so that they're not all over the place. And that way, if you want to go somewhere and you're doing a little bit of a slow stitching, or, you know, making a little project, you can just grab the bag, the color, the size that you want, and you don't have to be digging through all these buttons. I mean, I have, let me show you. I have, you know, jars of buttons. They're more decorative than anything. This was my mother's collection. I'll still keep them in their jar. They're more for decoration, but these are I'm actually going to be using. And then this one's pretty. It has all different colored ones. So I'm going to start going through all my buttons. And then these are some more of the tins. It's a little tin. Let me see, I can show you. Just a cute little tin. And it has all these buttons that when I make a needle book, I can just put this whole set in there. So I have a lot of those, and I'm wondering if these are even going to fit in here. I'm not sure about that. But I have a lot more buttons that I can use to fill this up. I have more. I have another big tin full of buttons. But I don't think these are going to fit in there. And I really don't think I want to cut these down because they're already a great size to begin with. So I'm going to change my mind on that one. And I'm just going to keep them the way they are. And then I know I have more buttons that I can use to fill this box up. And that way, when I want to use my buttons, they're organized. And then these I can just find on the shelf. I'll just label them. And they'll be easy to find too. Oh, I just found another bag. So I have different sizes. I have little white ones. You know, there's medium buttons here. There's large buttons. So I just think it'll be an easier way to get at these when I'm doing, especially when I'm doing slow stitching and needle books. This one's all puffed out, so I'm just going to let some of the air out. So that is another great organizational tip. And I'm sure I have enough buttons to fill this top and bottom. And I'll do that later, and I'll show you when I'm finished. So that's a good organizational tool. And then, let's see, I got one more thing there. This, I don't know if you, I hope you can see it. This is a lap desk. I'll see if you can see that. That you could put on your lap when you're working. I have a smaller one, but I don't like the feel of it because it's old and it's all the plastic's peeling off of it. This is a great surface to work on. I'm bringing this over to my son and his wife's for the next few days because I'm going to be working on projects. And I just love this. And it was $4.99. Thank you. So I'll definitely be using that. And then I got this for my painting area. This is a Lazy Susan. And it needs to be cleaned up, but it doesn't really matter because I'm going to end up getting paint on it. But you could put something you're working on, a craft project that you're painting, and then you can turn it. This is great for spray painting. And then you just spin it around. You could put some parchment paper on it so you don't ruin it if you really care. I'm sure this is going to get covered with paint at some point. But, again, $2.99. I swear everything in the store was like $2.99 to $4.99. Okay. So, let me see. So then I went to... My husband and I went to a cookout at his sister's this weekend. And there was a yard sale up the street from her house. So I'm like, Kevin, let's go. I want to check it out. I've only been to one yard sale. I used to go to yard sales like every Saturday in the summertime. I've only been to one other yard sale. But I just picked up a couple of things because, you know, we kind of were running late anyway. So I got these great books for my garden journals. This one says The Plant Kingdom. And again, I will recycle the cover. I might cut some of those images off and use them. And then these have beautiful, like vintage illustrations. Very beautiful. Look at those colors. Gorgeous. I'm going to be cutting those out and putting them with all of my gardening journal stuff so that when I am ready to decorate a garden journal, I've got everything. And look at these. You can cut these out as little cards. They have information about different types of plants. I love these. I'll definitely be using those. Okay, so there's one. This one, I kind of just want it for the words. It says, how to plan your custom garden. And then there's like a letter about a subscription. You could reuse that too. I like the font on it, the typeset. I love that. But there's a lot of words in here that I can cut out. They're black and white images, which I'm fine with those. There's not many images. It's mostly the words that I'm interested in. I'll be cutting out all the words, and those will go with my garden journal as well. So, because I noticed I didn't really have a lot of words left from my last garden journal. So this will be great. This one's called Annuals and Perennials. And this is from Woman's Day magazine, which was one of my mother's favorite magazines. Sorry for the light. So I'll be reusing images and the book cover on that. I love this book cover. So when I cut this book up, I'm going to save this book cover and I can use that for a garden journal. Look at it. It's beautiful. I love the images on there. And this one also has lots of little illustrations. They're not photographs. These are illustrations, and I love them. I love the look of them. They're beautiful. And I'll be using some of the words in here as well. But they're beautiful, and I'll be cutting those out. I'm going to start bringing books over with me when I babysit my granddaughter on Mondays and Tuesdays. And I'm going to start cutting things out of books while she's sitting, you know, while she's sleeping for 2 hours. I might as well do something. And I think that would be great. I love the color of this. So I'll definitely be reusing that. Probably not for a collage strip. I'm sorry about the shadows from the sun. I will definitely be using just that as a background. I love that. I may use this front cover for these illustrations for the recipe journals that I'm going to be doing. So that's beautiful. And this is also another really pretty cover. I love these old covers. And let's see if they have end papers. I'm always looking for... They do. I love the end papers. I use them to back my journal cards and tags. And then these have a black and white, which, you know, I love black and white. Look at those beautiful illustrations. I'll be cutting all those out And when I cut them out, I'll ink around them, and they just look really vintage. I just love the look. And this one even has some kind of a little advertisement in there. I'll reuse that too. Why not? I could turn that into a tag. So I was thrilled with these, and they were $1 a piece. I mean, beautiful. Love these images. Okay, so I think, let's see. Oh, I know I had something I wanted to show you. The last video, I apologize. I didn't get the placement right for my video. I mean, for my garden journal, so that you couldn't really see the cover. So I'm hoping that you can see the cover better now. I did go ahead and I added some colors because I wanted to pick up on the colors on the front of the book, which I think I did. I love that. And then I also found, when I was going through things, you know, I'm organizing files and things, I found this. This is a drawing that I had made of a garden at my old home. And we had a rectangular garden bed. It was a good size. And this was in 2019. And I put a trellis and a bird bath. And then it tells where I planted my things. So tomatoes, peppers, squash, cherry tomatoes grew up along the fence on trellises. I didn't draw that in. I could have, but I didn't. Those cherry tomatoes, they go crazy. You got to put them on a trellis. Squash in the corner so they could grow out away from the garden, so they're not taking over your garden. If you put squash in the middle of your garden, it's going to take over and you're not going to get anything but squash. So I always put them in the corners or in their own separate thing. Then I had zucchini on the sides. Those are also a vining plant. You could put them up on a trellis on either side, or you can let them vine over if you've got the room. And then in the front, I had herbs, some flowers, so I had herbs, flowers, herbs, lettuce, spinach, lettuce, flowers, flowers, flowers. And what I did was I collect the seeds from my flowers, and I'm doing it right now, actually. When the heads dry out, I save them and dry them, and then I put them in baggies and label them, and then I organize them in a box for the next year. You have to make sure that your seeds are completely dry before you put them in a baggie, otherwise they're going to mold. But I saved my marigold seeds from the year before, and I put them all across the front of my garden. It's really beautiful. When I find a picture of this garden, I will show you, and then I'll make sure I put it in my garden journal. So I'm going to take this with me today over to my son's house. And I might as well, keep working on the decorations. All I have to do is some stamping. What else did I want to do? Oh, stickers and rub-ons. So that's what I'll be doing. It's a nice, relaxing activity to do. You don't have to think much about it when you're watching TV. So while I'm watching the dog can watch me working on my journal. So that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. And then I wanted to just mention that I have 2 file boxes. This is another organizational tip. I have 2 file boxes, and I have all the journals that I plan on working on. I'm going to label all of the files. And these, I have a list of journal ideas. I'm not going to run through all of that right now. I'll do it once I get organized. But I have like ideas for 32 different journals. So I have a lot of content for the next couple of years. But what I'm going to do is make labels for each one of these, and I'll type them and put them on a label and stick it on the file folder. And as I go through cutting up these books, I can take the picture like these or all of these right here. I'll show you. These are all for a flip-flop journal. So I'm just keeping them all together. I didn't completely cut them out all the way. I just used a razor knife And this is just a pretty paper that I could use for a background. And then I just cut out images that I know that I would use in a flip-flop journal. And they'll all go in a file that says flip-flop journal. And then this is a page that can go in a flip-flop journal. So that way when I go to do one of my journals, I just go into that file and pick out the file that is labeled for the journal I'm working on. And all the images and the letters, all of the wording will all be in that file folder. And I just take the file folder out, put it in my box that I use to organize my materials for my journals. And it saves a lot of time. If you cut out all the images and you stick them in one box, you're sitting there going through all of these images over and over and over again. I'm not interested in doing that. It's too much work. And this just makes it so much easier. So these are for my prayer journal. I'm working on my prayer journal, and I'm going to be making one for my friend. So I'm going to need some images for her. And I have a beautiful, it's called History of Art book. And it has gorgeous paintings and pictures in them. And the thing about using images is you can use images out of books. You cannot photocopy them because you'll be violating the copyright law. I'm going to learn about that. I don't know that much about it, but it's a long time. There's no way that most of the books that we use, unless you purchase them, by somebody that knows the origination date of when it was published, and they can verify, yes, it's old enough for you to be able to copy. Some people copy them and make PDFs, and they sell them on their Etsy websites. But I'm just using the images in the books, and I'm not copying them. So you can use as many images as you want. So these are for my prayer journal. Oops, I got another one. This one I thought would be beautiful for a cover. It's gorgeous. That will be the cover of my next prayer journal. And then lastly, I just did a little bit last night cutting out. My mother and I went to Paris years ago when I was in college. And we took a beautiful trip and we saw all the sights in Paris. We were there for a whole week. So these are pictures of Notre Dame. So I thought those would be perfect for my vacation in Paris journal with my mom. And then this one, I like that the images are on both sides. You could use this the tall way for a flip-flop journal, or you can just fold it in half like this to use in another journal, and you can see the images. They're beautiful. So there's another journal page for that type of a journal. So lastly today, I wanted to show you, this is my next journal. It's just going to be a quick journal because I want to make something for the summer, because I've been working on garden journal and a flip-flop journal. I didn't work on anything for the summer. Excuse me, I'm going to get another sip of my coffee. So I thought, since we have a few more weeks left in the summer, I'm going to go ahead and make like a little nautical one. Somebody had given me, let me show you. It gave me a gift. I think it was one of the parents from my program, my preschool program that I run in the summer. It was a gift that they had given me in this beautiful bag. And I've seen these at the Dollar Tree, so it's a Dollar Tree gift bag. But what I'm going to do, I think maybe I'll just start doing it right now. I'm going to glue this together. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this strip. And I don't mind. There's an extra reinforcing strip there. That's fine. I'm just going to leave it right there. I'll glue that down a little bit so that doesn't pop up or anything. And then I'm just going to put glue all over this And once this art glitter glue dries, it's not going anywhere. So then I'm just going to press that down. The thing about art glitter glue is it dries super fast, which is nice. I mean, you can hold it. This doesn't have to be perfect because it's just the edge. I have a little extra on my finger. I might as well use it up. And then that's down. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on the other side. We'll do the same thing on this one. I hope you can see. I'm going to move this over a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so same thing. Just going to glue it down. Doesn't matter. We'll use what's there. Underneath. Underneath. I'll put a little on this side. Maybe I'll put, and then I'll do the other side. And that way it will really stick. And now, I know I'm using a lot of glue from these books. Books. From these bottles right now. I have fine tips that I'm going to put on them. But I'm waiting for stainless steel pins to come. If you put a regular pin in your art glitter glue, it's going to ruin the glue. And it's going to turn brown because the pin rusts in the glue because of the moisture content that's in it. So you have to use stainless steel pins. And wouldn't you know, the pins that I ordered online, I thought they'd come here in a few days. Oh no, they're coming from China. Yeah. Usually I try to buy things in the US, but you know, there's some things that when you order online, a lot of times you don't even know where they're coming from. But I checked the information about the order, and it's on its way. But I'm not going to get these pins for like 2 more weeks. So I'm just going to have to live with what I have and use it the way I have it until they come. So now this, I got to look at this and make sure that I'm orienting this right. I'm just going to go ahead and glue this down and make it's just going to be the inside flap of the cover. Like I said, this is it's going to be a junk journal. So I'm just slapping it together, and you don't have to worry because it's not like it's for a commission and I have to have it perfect and, you know, I have to meet all the specifications for it. I'm just making it for me. And excuse me, I'm getting a wipe over here. I took 1 out and 3 come out with it, but I'm getting glue everywhere. Okay, so this is that shiny material, so you can actually use a wet wipe on this, and it wipes up the excess glue. And then if you take another dry one, which is just a tissue, you can wipe it off, and that way it's not going to, the page isn't going to stick together, and that's going to stay down nicely. Looks like I need a little bit more under here. But this is also going to be covered by, I think I'm going to put like a map to cover the inside of this. So you won't even see all that. It's going to be covered. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'll put this one aside, let it dry for a minute. And let me look at it, make sure I'm doing the right thing. This is the outside flap of the bag, which will, if you glue it down and use what's there, it's going to reinforce the edges of your cover, which is great. And you can just push it down. You can burnish it with the burnisher. Right now, I'm just using a paper, a tissue paper. It's fine. If it comes out, I'll just wipe it up. And that's great. Oops, that just came up because it's a liquid glue and it hasn't dried yet. It'll move, so you gotta not be so rough with it. I need to calm down here. I'm pushing on it way too much. All right, that's good. That's not gonna go anywhere. So now now this one needs more glue right there on the edge. So what I can do is go in my drawer right here. Let's see. I'll get some little clips. I get some of these clips. These are just Dollar Tree clips. They come in very handy. And I have all different size clips. I keep them all in one container. And that way, let's put this on these corners right here. This doesn't need it. This does. Let's see. Right here. This needs it right here in this corner. What do I do with that dry one? Yeah, I can see that it needs to be wiped up or it might stick somewhere. So right here where that crease is, and I'll probably do the same thing over here. Excuse me, I hope you can see. And then I'll put this aside. We'll do this one too, just to hold that corner down. Let's just put it on the corners, and then this one, I'll just put that right across the whole thing, and that'll hold that down. So the next thing that we're going to do, let's see about the bottom. I have to think about this. I don't want to lose too much of the image, but I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to turn it up a little bit, just a little, so I don't lose a lot of the image. And hopefully that will be straight. I hope you can see what I'm doing. So starting next week, I'm going to be going over to my brother's house, and my nephew is going to teach me how to edit videos because he's very talented and he knows how to do all these things. So I think what I'll do is I'm just going to snip the corner. Let's see. Yep. I don't think it's going to matter there, but right here it will. And like I said, I'm going to be covering the inside of this. So I'm just going to go ahead and start right here. And I really should have some parchment paper under me or something right now because I'm getting glue on my new mat. It's a mat. Eventually it's going to get trashed, but it's new, so I'm trying to take care of it. All right, so that's going to get glued down. I just wanted to let you know, the lights across my desk, they're not just decorative, even though they're pretty. They're going to I put them in a spot where I know that I need to stay within this area so that you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Because last week when I did my video in the other room, I went off camera quite a bit in that video, and I do apologize for that. But this is new to me, and I'm just getting used to doing all this. I'm not a professional. I'm just a crafter, having fun, and hopefully you enjoy the projects that I do. And I found out why I'm not seeing comments on my videos. If you don't have I believe if you don't have a public account, I'm probably not going to see it. And you also need to be subscribed to YouTube and all that stuff. So it's fine. I've gotten a few, so I know that the comments do work. And eventually, as my numbers grow, I'm sure that I will be getting a lot more comments. I think I better glue this down too. Hope you can see that. That's just that little piece in there. And like I said, this is going to reinforce the bottom edge. The bottom edge of this. All right. So this should be dry. I can take those clips off now. So what we're going to do, we're probably going to need those clips though, so I'll keep them right where I can get at them. What we're going to do now, oops, I gotta finish what I started. I think I'm going to need these clips for the corner here. Let's see. Let's look at this corner. I think we're going to need it for this corner too. Yep. That will, I'll just put that aside, let it dry for a minute. Like I said, art glitter glue dries really fast. I'm going to put a little glue there because I can see that's coming up. And then I'm going to, again, I'm going to fold it up just a little bit. So I don't want to lose much of this image. And that's ripped right to there, so folding that up right to there is fine. That'll get rid of that rip. I don't think I was very careful when I ripped this. So let me go ahead and I'm going to clip the corner, and then I'll clip this corner as well, just at an angle. Doesn't have to be perfect. Oops, here we go again with the glue everywhere. Excuse me, I'm going to get a piece of parchment paper. Right on the other side of my room, I'm actually working, I'm going to be working on that side of the room next. I actually got this side of the room pretty organized. Haven't labeled everything yet. That'll be like the last thing I do. My daughter bought me a label maker, and what did I do? I lost the cord for it, or I threw it away, or who knows what happened to it. Hope you guys are having a good morning. So now when I go to label, I got to go on Amazon and I got to buy a new cord for it so I can use it. I mean, it's a beautiful Brothers label maker. And she's like, because she sees me labeling things by hand in here. And she's like, Mom, what happened to the label maker that I bought you? And I'm like, I have it. I promise I will use it. I'm just going to have to order the plug. So that way everything will look nice and neat. For a little while anyways, you know how that goes. Okay, we can only, crafters can only stay so organized for so long, and then it just becomes a mess again. But that's what happens when you craft, and so no worries. Have fun. Don't stress out about every little thing. Okay, this one definitely is going to need some clips. So let's do this corner right here. And then I believe I'm going to need one here. I may actually need quite a few for this one because there's a rip right here. Let me get a few more. I have them right in my drawer. I got a huge box full of them. All different kinds. So I have plenty. So let's keep going. I think I better... Sometimes the art glitter glue starts to dry if you leave it for too long. So, let's do that. There's definitely some weak points in this. Right here, for instance, is very weak. I'm going to put more glue right there just to make sure that when it does dry, it stays. Get another one here. Right there. Yeah, that's where it needs to be. Hope you can see. Then right here, and then I think I need... Oh. I'm going to hold that while I find another one. I just went ahead and put in my cart on Amazon some of those little plastic clips that people use for quilting. But they're great little clips for when you're doing paper. They're small, but they have a good size flat spot where you can glue paper down. These are, I mean, you probably go an inch with these. But they're small, and I think that they'll work great. So I'm going to order those. I don't just order things all the time. I order things when I can afford to order them. So sometimes things sit in my cart for a while until I feel comfortable spending the money. You know, bills and things come first. So that's just the way it is. I'm sure everyone else does the same thing. We're on a budget, just like everybody else. Okay, so there's that bottom edge. Now I do notice there's a... Oops, I think I did it on the other one, but I didn't do it on this one. Just needs a little bit more glue. Oh, you can see it pouring out. I'll just wipe it with the wet wipe and then with the dry one. There we go. Oh, that's great. So, of course, I've got glue on my fingers, so the tissue is sticking to me. All right, so that's the front cover. When that bottom dries, that'll be good. All of the edges have been reinforced by the bag itself. I didn't have to add anything to it because it already has what we need. So I just have to make sure that I have this straight. So there's the front. Oops, sorry about the sun. It's so pretty. I have to use this. I wasn't going to throw that away. And then so I'm going to glue this together right here. This is the middle, and that creates a spine for us, which is great. My parchment paper is getting caught up on my lights. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I think this is fine now. I'm going to go ahead and put glue in here. We're going to start creating a spine, and the spine is where you're going to sew in your signatures. Oh, this thing is all clogged up. Okay, yeah, see? Let me get in a pin. On the right side of me is my sewing area. Directly behind me is my painting and mixed media area. So I can pretty much swing around and get everything I need. All right, so now this should work. Okay, we want to use this glue before it dries because it dries so quickly. And make sure we get those corners. Plenty of glue. All right, so now what I'm going to do is make sure that these are oriented in the right way, which they are. I'm going to glue this down, and we want to leave a little bit of space so that it can fold. So I'm going to press that down, and as I press it, I'm picking up the glue that's squishing out. And this will move because it's liquid glue. Until it dries, it has a tendency to move. So I'm going to be gentle with it. Okay, I can feel it's very sticky. So if you just wipe it off, because this is that shiny material. And then take a dry one. Yeah, see, it's seeping out, but that's good. That means it's right at the edge where you want it, so that it will seal up. And then now, I think this is dry now, so I'm going to transfer these to here, all the way across. Let's see. This can come up a little bit. Hold on. I mean, it should match up because it's a bag, and it's coming out the top. That way you know that it's right at the edge where you want it. So clip those. Maybe even another one. Like right at this spot there. Let's just check to make sure it closes right. Oh, it does. Beautiful. So I'll put another one there. All right. We'll do the same thing down here. Right at the edge. Right in the middle. Make sure that there's glue. I need a little more glue here. Okay. There we go. There we go. Yeah, it wasn't coming out, so I knew that it wasn't at the edge. And this is the spot. The spine is a spot where you might run into some issues if you don't have enough glue. So look what we have now. We have a cover made out of a Dollar Tree bag. I'm going to put a little bit of glue right in here. I'll try to move it so you can see me. Right there, that's kind of a weak spot. I can see that. Boy, I'm getting glue everywhere. But that's what happens when you're crafting. All right, so what I can do is I can actually, I'm not sure if I'm going to be covering the spine with anything. We can just go ahead and put some along there. Let me see. That might be the end of my, oh, I found one more. Yep, this is the end of my pink ones. This is about all I have, I guess, which is fine. This should be dry now. I can just transfer these over here. These have gotten a lot of use over the years. All right, and I can see there's glue seeping out, and if I don't wipe that up, I better check this. If I don't wipe this up right here, when I go to open this, it's going to be stuck together. And when art glitter glue sticks to your other piece of paper, like on the other side, it's going to rip it because it's strong. And I don't know how many times I've had to repair things because of that issue. But it really does need that right there to make sure that that glues down really well. I can see that there's glue seeping out. That's a good thing. All right, so I'm wondering if now I got to look at this end too. I can see that there's glue. I'm going to use the wet one to get it off of that plastic because it'll stick right here to the next one. And let's make sure. See, there was some glue right there. All right, so now I got to wipe my hands. I got glue everywhere. All right, so we're going to glue that together like that. And this is going to be beautiful. I'm wondering if I needed to do that on this side as well or not. I don't really think I do. This one came right to the edge. There's no glue seeping out. That tells me I have a good seal. It was this side that needed more help. And I can still see that there's glue seeping out, which is fine. You want it right to the edge on the spine, especially if I'm not going to cover the spine. I may not. This is, like I said, this is going to be a quick journal. I just want to do something fun for the summer because it was a fun summer. And we live by the coast. We don't live on the water, obviously, but we live 15 minutes from the ocean. So I've always loved nautical things. I used to decorate my bathrooms like nautical, everything nautical. This summer, I was so busy, I never even got all my summer stuff out to decorate the house. Because we were just so busy. We weren't even spending that much time in the house, so it's okay. But I will definitely in a few weeks, I'm going to be taking out my fall decorations, which I love. I don't decorate for Halloween anymore. I just do fall. I do Christmas, obviously. My grandson was over the other day and he said, Nana, can I help you put up your Christmas tree again this year? And I said, absolutely. Definitely. We'll make a day just for him to come and do that because he loves it. And it's a small tree. We just do a tabletop tree. We don't really have the room for a big tree, and I really don't need a big tree. I think a small one's fine. It's up on a table because I have little grandchildren, and if I have a big tree, you know, that's the first thing they're going to beeline to. So I would rather just have it up away from them so they can see it, but they don't need to be touching it. All right, so let's see. I think that that's going to be good. Let's see. I'll take these off because art glitter glue does not take long to dry. I just wanted to make sure it had a great seal right there on the spine, which it does. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect. It's for me. So I'm fine if it's not perfect. It's okay. All right, so I think that this is fine now. There's a little bit of glue. Now look at that. There's my spine. I'm sorry about the glare from the sun. I'm in my craft room, and my craft room gets a lot of sun in the morning, which I love. It's fine. But I'm hoping you can see it I'll just go across it like that so you can see. So there's the spine, and you can see it from there too. That's going to be a pretty good width for a spine. And let me show you. Let me put away all these clips now. Okay, so if I stand this up a little bit, I mean, it's not going to stay very well, but I just noticed that little tiny corner needs a little bit more. All right, so I'll just put it in there and wipe it. So what I have, let me show you. I'll show you what I'm going to put in. I'm not going to put it all in today. Today we're just doing the cover, and then we'll work on next time we'll put it in. I'll show you what I have after I show you the signature. So here, let me put this down and I'll bring it back in when we go to fit it in. This can continue to dry. I'll just put my scissors on there to hold it so it stays. My coffee went cold, but that's okay. It's delicious. So what I have is, let me show you. Let me move this stuff out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. I put a little table next to me on the left so that I had all the things I wanted to show you this morning right where I could get at them. And then I have a place on my right side, once I show it to you, where I can put it down. Or I'll put it on the floor and then I'll clean up later. So I had this book. Let me go get one of the big pages. I have this book called Carving Shorebirds, which I thought was perfect because this is a nautical journal. Look at these beautiful caramel colored pages. I love them. So I use those to make pages. And I cut this one so that, oh, this one's not, this is supposed to be under here like this. But I put that one up there and this one down here, so you'll be able to read Carving Shorebirds with full-size patterns. But then it has a pattern underneath it, which I thought was beautiful. Sorry about the sun again and the shadows. So I started cutting that book up and using those. And then I found some maps, which I'm going to glue in. I love maps. This one's the world map. And then you can open this whole page up, and then you can glue it right around the edge there. You could put washi tape on there, and that becomes another page without having to waste a lot of this image. So there's that. And then more of those samples of bird carvings. And this is plain, so I'll probably cover that with something. And then I have a map from when my husband and I went to, this spring, my husband and I went to upstate New York. We rented a off-grid cabin, which was interesting, in the middle of nowhere, no neighbors. It was beautiful. And then we went to Niagara Falls and Canada. So along the way, we got a beautiful map that says Atlantic, the making of Canada, Atlantic Canada, National Geographic. Oh, it's beautiful. So I'm going to be cutting that up and using that. So I'm probably going to use a few pages. I might even cut it and cover this page. So that's probably what I'll do. I tried to put things in here that I'm going to use to make a signature. I've decided I'm only putting one signature in this book because as I add things to it, it gets thicker and thicker, and then you can't even close it. So I don't mind a gator mouth on certain types of journals, but this particular one, I don't want it that way. So this is just some paper, excuse me, that I found. I like the color of it. I like the weight of it. Here's some more of that. What I did was I cut the pages from that book. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. My allergies are crazy. Now, I had spring and summer allergies, and what? Now I have fall allergies. I never had this many allergies in my life before. So something's changing, and I'm getting sensitive to everything. So I'm reusing the pieces that I cut off. Why not? Just make shorter pages with them. And I just love these technical pages. Like, I will probably move that up. I'm not ready to sew it in yet, but that way I can stagger the pages. I love to stagger the pages. This is like a little short page. You can add something to it, which I probably will. I found another map, a couple of maps. And then these, like I said, this page that's blank back here, you can glue one of those on there. I'll leave that right there. And then here's another one. And I'll add things to the page, like pockets and side tucks. And again, I have a little piece, but I'll just glue something on there. You know, I might even glue like a map that flips out. So what I'll probably do with this one is have this fold in instead of fold out right here. I'll just take that seam and make it go the other way. And then if I glue this on there, look what happens. You got a flip out page already ready to go. So this one, what's happening here? This is another little short page. It's just because I want to preserve the image on the page. So I just folded that little piece down. I do that a lot with flip-flop journals. And when I start making flip-flop journals, you'll see why I do that. Again, here is blank page. I've got another map. Let's see what this map is from. Whenever we go on trips and things, I love to look at a map when I'm driving, and I like to keep track of our progress. I mean, yeah, you can do it on Google Maps, but it's not as fun. I'm kind of a geek that way. I love maps. I don't know why, I just love them, and I always have. When we were kids, my uncle used to send us a set of National Geographics every year for school. Because back in the day, there was no internet. You had to cut magazines up to make a poster board on a subject that you were working on. And guess what? We had so many National Geographics that all you had to do was look up the subject, take the book out, and then it had all the information you needed and beautiful images, and that's how we got through school. This is upstate New York, so this was from the same trip. So that's great. I'll be using that. Let's see if I fold it. Sorry, I'm getting too close with the map, but I'm wrestling the map. That's the thing. You can never refold a map back the way it used to be. Oh, I've tried, and it's a nightmare. So don't even bother. Just fold it the way you like it. So I'll be cutting pieces out like that. Let me just fold it this way. So now I know I'm going to be cutting that and putting it on that page. Here's another little piece, which I'll probably put some other, let's see what else we have. Here's another map. I could back this and then glue it on, and you got another page. So that's going to go there. Here's a blank page. Most likely I'll put a picture or a map. I do want to go to the thrift store again. I'm going to be busy this week, but maybe next week, and try to find a book with like whales and dolphins and nautical things in it so that I can use it to decorate, because I don't have one. I've looked. And all of my kid books now I've got them packed away at my program. I did go ahead and buy a few more books. Let me show you what I got. I've been using the same 6 themes. Each week is a different theme for the last 2 years, because I end up buying enough stuff where I have enough stuff left over from 1 year that I can do it again for the second year. But now I'm going to add some new topics in. I'm going to keep pirates. I'm going to keep bugs. And I'm going to keep, what was the other one? Pirates, bugs, I don't know. And then, so I'm going to add in dinosaurs. I got this one. I love this because it says totally amazing facts about dinosaurs. When these kids are sitting down with me on the rug, when I'm reading them a book or we're having a discussion about the topic for the week, they have very short attention spans. So this book is great because it just gives you little snippets of information, and these kids go crazy for dinosaurs, just like they go crazy for bugs. So I got to get some bug books too. But this one I thought was perfect. So I'll be using that. And then my little grandson is obsessed with tractors. He's 3. He loves to watch them on TV. He has a bunch of tractors at my house, at his other grandparents, at his home. He's just obsessed with tractors. He loves them. So I got this cute little book called Tractor Mac Tune-Up. He's going to love that. And then this one, I thought I'd get a girl book for the girls. They love unicorns. We have a giant stuffed giraffe at my program, and we name it at the beginning of my summer program. And this year, they couldn't decide on one name, so we gave her 2 names, and her name was Violet Unicorn. And I put a big heart on her with her name, and the kids go over and have their pictures taken with it. They'll go, I tell them, you can pet her, you can have your picture taken, but you can't sit on her. She's like 5 feet tall, but the kids want to, sit on her back, and then they'll ruin her. So they know, don't sit on her, but you can get your picture taken with her, and you can pet her in case you're feeling sad or you're lonely or you're missing mom. And they do that quite a bit. So this one's cute. How to Catch a Unicorn. So throughout the year, I will pick up different things for the theme that I'm doing. Let's see. So here's another little map that I found. I don't know what this one's for. It just says Massachusetts, which is good. It's representative of where I live. So that's great. So I'll be using that. Probably, and I'll probably cover, I like this. So I'll put an image there, but I'll keep the rest because it looks kind of like rope, which I like. So then we got another page here that I'll probably glue on a map. And I'm going to be making pockets and things. Like I said, I'll cover this up, but I like the paper, so I'll use it. We'll cover that up too. What I have, let me move these books that I just showed you. I went ahead and cut some books, pictures out of a book. These are shorebirds, so I can decide whether I want that one or this one, whichever one looks good on the page. I've got seagulls, lots of seagulls, which are perfect for this book. Look at that one. Love that one. So I can just use that to cover that right up. And then I have this page. I'm just going to use it as a page. Actually, I better think about that, where I want that before I sew this in, because it is a page. Last journal I made, I left some pages out. Once you sew it in, I mean, you can tip it in. You can use washi tape, and you can tip it in. So it's not like you can't get another page in there, but it's easier if you can do it, when you bind the book. Here's another nice one, if I can open it, that says United States. I love that. I might put that one like this because I love these little perforated edges. So this will just get attached. Maybe there'll be another short page somewhere. Let's look. Yep, I can attach that there and get a fold out again. So that looks great there. I'll probably maybe add something to that. And then I just have a few more pages that will be covered with images. Let me show you what else I have. I have this beautiful image, and I'm going to use that. I'll probably use that. That might be at the beginning of the book. Let's flip this over now. So that's my signature. It's just one signature, but I think that's going to be great. Oh, I lost a few pages. That one goes up top because I want to be able to see carving shorebirds and then have that there. So this could be the beginning of the book inside. I'll make a page. I'm probably not going to be able to use the whole thing. I might have to, believe it or not, cut these letters off, and then that will be the front page of it. Well, let me show you some other things I have. Oh, I have this word compass. This I thought we could use as like a little tuck spot. That's perfect. What else do I have? Oh, I found this was a greeting card. It has a little sailboat on it, so I'll use that. This was also a greeting card that has seashells on it. I hope you can see them. They're very faint, but they're pretty. This one's from a greeting card. It has seashells on it. Very pretty. I'll be reusing that. This one is an envelope cover, but what I thought I would do is maybe watercolor it and make it into a nice beach scene. And then I'd add that in. And that's what I have so far. But, you know, I'm going to definitely need to get like a book about the ocean and the sea animals, and that will go in here. That was one of my themes for my program was the ocean animals. But all the books I used were from the library, and you cannot cut up library books unless you buy them from the library from one of their sales. And then once you own it, then you can, but obviously. And the kids at my program know I have a basket with all my library books for the week. They do not touch the library books because if they get ruined, Miss Terry's going to have to pay for them, and I don't want to pay for books. All right, so I think that's going to be perfect for this. Once I sew it in and we start adding things, it's going to be a nice journal. I'm really loving this. I think it's so cute. And on the front here, there's holes. I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me put something behind it so you can see. There are 2 holes on the top from the handle and 2 holes on the back. And I have an old bracelet that broke that are, they're aqua starfish. So I'm just going to hot glue them right there and maybe glue a few more so it looks like it all goes together. I think that'll be great. Plus, it's a good way to use up those starfish beads. I just don't have I don't know what happened to it all. I don't have enough to make a bracelet now, but it'll work perfectly for this. So I'll probably go ahead and sew this in, and the next time we look at this, the signature will be in. I'll probably hot glue those on, and then we'll be ready to start working in this journal, which I love. I hope you can see that. And it has beautiful sparkles on it on the front, which I love sparkles. I love glitter, but I come from working for a school department for 20 years, and the maintenance did not want you using loose glitter. So the only time we ever used glitter was when we mixed it with glue. And that's the only way I use it. And I don't use a lot of glitter, but sometimes we do. And if we do, we mix it with glue. That way the kids can paint it on a page. When it dries, you can see the glitter, but it's not getting in the rugs and it's not getting all over the floors and the tables and the chairs. So that's what I do with glitter. I do love it. It's just, you got to be careful with it. Plus, sometimes kids get it in their eyes, and that can be dangerous. I've heard they can scratch their cornea or something. So that was, when I heard that, that's when I was like, oh no, no loose glitter. Just so you know. Well, I'd like to thank you for coming to my channel. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment if you can. I'd love to hear what you think of my projects. So have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. Happy crafting.